Cool. Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm here. I'm Michael from Andrews campus primarily, and with me I got Kay, of course, the junior high pastor from Odessa, and Larry Monahan's student pastor. And so we're just gonna come at y'all a little midweek encouragement, just a very short little thing. And so first, Kay, Larry, I want to know what's the best thing that's come out of quarantine so far. Best thing. So go ahead, Kay.
For me, it's just been seeing my daughter grow, like outside activities. Like she's starting to learn how to swim,
Oh,
and
that's
so
awesome.
that's been fun. Probably wouldn't have much time to do that if we were in quarantine, so I'm thankful for that. And also just time to relax. At times it can be a little much, but also time to wind down before we ramp back up when everything goes back to normal.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Seeing your daughter grow and be able to swim and stuff. That's awesome. Perfect for summertime coming up. What about you, Larry?
For sure.
Yeah, I think for me it's kind of the same thing as far as my kids. So me and my wife, before all this quarantine stuff happened, me and my wife were pretty good about slowing down. You know, like don't stay so busy. We had that in our mind, but now that we're able to play with our kids so much, I noticed that before the quarantine stuff, we would slow down, and then when they'd want to play, we're like, no, we're winding down. Like, hey, this is and you know
Yeah.
they were more fussy then. They got sick more often. My son would sleep talk all the time, and now that we're actually like making tons of time to just sit and play with him. Even I mean, sometimes they just want to sit on your lap and watch cartoons. He doesn't sleep talk anymore. Like I just see he's just a happier kid, and so is my daughter. And so it kind of put in perspective. It's a lesson learned for when everything goes back to normal. That relaxing sometimes isn't just for me. It's to make time for my kids. So
Yeah, for
it's
sure, for sure.
been really good.
That's cool. That's awesome to hear that y'all are able to go with your family. Obviously, I got a little more time with them too.
Yeah.
That's real cool. So obviously, y'all are the last two that spoke. Y'all actually launched our undefeated series that we're in the middle of right now. So, Cade, what was maybe the easiest, maybe the hardest part about getting ready for this message, getting ready to speak it? Was it difficult for you? Was it very easy and exactly what you needed? What was that kind of process like?
For me, it was just to try to convey the idea that this God that some people think is so big and so far away and may not listen to them is right there waiting to hear with prayer from everybody, and that through Jesus that we have complete access, that it's like looking out your door and be like, hey God, like how you doing today? Like it's that easy. When people have this notion of maybe God's this grumpy old man in the sky who doesn't want to hear from anybody, or that they're like a bad example of a father figure who may not, and so that was probably the hardest. I mean, the hardest thing. I'm trying to condense that down. But the
Yeah.
easiest thing was just the excitement of, we have God as much as we want him. Like he's always there. And that was probably the funnest thing for me.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's awesome to break down once you start thinking about that. Like, dang, like God is like God, like how great He is, and like you said, the day to day can feel so minute, and we just put him in this box that we pack away and put in our back pocket until we need him. That's cool. What
Mm-hmm.
about you, Larry?
For me, the hardest part was getting trying to get everyone to understand that sin was defeated in such a short time. You know, we want to keep it short and sweet, but there's so many examples that I can go through or analogies that I wanted to use because we sin and we think that God sees us the way we feel when we sin, and He doesn't see us that way. One of the scriptures was in I think 2 Corinthians where because of Jesus we become the righteousness of God, and to me, that's one of the hardest things for me to wrap my head around. Sometimes I have to remind myself is that I see myself as a sinner, but because of Jesus, God doesn't see me as a sinner, and He sees me as forgiven. And it all boils down to us being human. And when someone offends us and they say sorry, and we're like, oh, we forgive you. We know deep down that sometimes we hold some resentment for weeks or months, even though they said sorry. And so we think that's how God is that, oh, I'm sorry, God, I sinned. And we say, yeah, I'm forgiven, but I'm pretty sure He's still upset with me. But sin is defeated. that I think the easiest part is the fact that the truth doesn't come from me preaching it, or the truth doesn't come from whether my faith is struggling or not, or whether it's strong or not. The truth is sin is defeated because of what Jesus did. And so that was the easiest thing for me, was the things that were coming out of my mouth are true because of what God did, not because of the things that I was thinking of. So I think that's the, you kind of get excited about it because we understand, we comprehend what Christ did for us. And so when I get on there, I want to get fired up, but I got to keep in mind that, just because I'm fired up about sin being defeated doesn't mean everyone comprehends it,
Right.
And it was a process for all of us. It wasn't like I read it and believed it and I'm like, sin is defeated. It was me growing in my faith as the time went on. So
yeah, but I do agree that, like, if you're a Christ follower, there, it's time to get excited, especially both of y'all said, how great our God is once we can wrap our head around maybe just a little part of it, because not any of us can understand it completely. But Cade, like you said, God is so great and so mighty and so powerful, and we have that direct line. We don't have to wait on him. We don't have to wonder if he's there. And then Larry, like you said, he's undefeated, of course. Like we're talking about, he's defeated sin. He's defeated enemy number one, public enemy number one, and now we don't have to worry about it anymore. We don't have to sweat it. We don't have to wonder if we're gonna make it, and that's so awesome. That gets me excited. Like you said, that's to run through a wall for sure. That's awesome.
Sure.
So Larry, can you hit us with just a little encouraging thing to get through, maybe a 1-2 sentence thing to get through the next week or two?
Yeah, there's something that God's put on my heart for a couple of weeks now, and I haven't really put pen to paper on it, but I've been thinking about why it's so hard for us to accept comfort from him, being in quarantine and knowing that people are passing away from this virus, and knowing people that are battling, and knowing that any one of us could get sick. I was just, thinking about why is it hard for us to accept comfort? And I feel he put this on my heart is because we don't want comfort, we want comfortable. And so that's really opened my eyes the past couple of weeks to where just because we're not comfortable doesn't mean that God can't comfort us. And comfort doesn't always mean comfortable. Comfort is knowing that he's got us and it's going to be okay even when we're uncomfortable. And so it's just something to think about. I'm still praying about it, thinking about it. So
yeah, for sure. What about you, Kate? You got anything else that you want to get off your heart, get off your mind for our students, for our parents, and small group leaders?
Yeah, one thing that I've been seeing across social media is just people always looking forward to, when we get out of this. And, me too, like I'm pinned up in the house. I see this too shall pass. But also the other side of the coin is this is the time that you can build endurance, because they never said that this would be easy, not even this quarantine. Of course, it's not easy, but being a Christian, no one ever told us that it was going to be easy. And when we feel separated, from fellowship, from brothers and sisters, kind of what both and I, Larry, talked about, that we have a God that we have an open door to, and that he wants that relationship. And this is a great time whenever you're secluded from, outside influences and peer pressure for, teenagers and high schoolers and junior high students, that you can be alone with God. I don't know what better time in their life than right now, than when they can be alone with God and start building that relationship. And so that's what I would say. This too shall pass, but also this is time for building endurance.
Yeah. Taking advantage of the time we have. I like that for sure. Sweet. Well, that's all we got for right now, guys. Continue to look out for stuff we got. Awesome. Thank y'all so much, Cade and Larry. That's all we got today. See y'all.